Hello everyone. Welcome to the first of the many video discussions that we are going to have in our science for the school year 2020-2021. So I guess you've heard me already sa atong video discussions in mathematics, but again, I will be your subject teacher for science as well. So you have done chapter 1 already sa ato ang science, so we'll proceed now to chapter 2. And that will be all about gathering and analyzing data. In this chapter, we are expected that at the end of this lesson, you will be able to convert units of measure, express quantities in scientific notation, express measurements in the correct number of significant figures, recognize the limitations of measuring instruments, organize data into meaningful information, and lastly, we have analyzed and interpret data. However, for this week's lesson, we will be focusing more on conversion of units and the scientific notation. But before that, let's dig into some of the events that happen that contributes to the development of measurement throughout the years. So let's have the short historical background of measurement. Measurement is essential in science. When we say essential, there is no way science would become science without measurement. Next is, using appropriate measuring instruments is as important to measurement itself. So kung unsa ka importante ang measurement, ingon ana pud ka importante ang paggamit og appropriate nga measuring tool to measure an object. So when we say appropriate, so unsa ang nabagay ana niya nga butang nga to nga gamiton. Let's say for example, I am going to measure a book. Then that book, okay ba man tanong, medyo mubo-mubo lang ang book, which would be better to use a ruler or a meter stick. So tungod kay ang ang book is measurable by a ruler, so it's preferably nga ma-measure lang siya by the ruler. So the ruler is an appropriate measuring tool to measure the dimension of the book kaysa meter stick. So the same way, tungod kay ang measurement ginagamit na siya in different aspects sa science, researches, constructions, infrastructures, chemicals, ug uban pa nga mga aspects sa science. So, the appropriateness of the measuring tool nga gamiton as well as the accuracy of the measurement itself, kana sila maoy nagpahimo sa science nga science. The earliest known group of people that uses the units of measurements are the ancient Sumerians and the Egyptians. So sila ang una nag-devise og unit of measurements. So in what way? So kani sila nga mga group of people, they use body parts, nature, heavenly bodies, and early inventions to measure length, mass, and time. So dili man as sophisticated as today, but this group of people proved themselves that kani sila they were able to They were able to use or give justice nga magamit ang measurement para sa ilaha nga or better nga application at that certain moment or time. Okay. Now, in measuring sa length and distance, so kani silang mga units were used by the ancient Egyptians according sa ilang mga recorded nga mga sa history. So makit-an apil dito sa ilang mga pictures kung unsa ilang mga ginagamit related to measurement. So in length and distance, kindly open your books on page 24, and on that page makita ninyo ang figure 2-1. So in this picture, makita nato ang duha ka Egyptians nga naa sa field. So the ancient Egyptians measuring a cornfield to estimate the size of the yield. So one of this, kita mo naggunit siya og rope. So the man holding the staff is the landowner and the staff is a symbol of his position. Ang usa, holding a rope which he uses to measure pila ang dimension sa ilahang cornfield, which could possibly lead them to estimate as well how many or how much ang yield nilang makuha for that certain period of kanang tanom nila nga ma-harvest. Now, during the ancient times, people measured things using the parts of their body. So, some of the measuring units we use today were developed out of this practice. For example, I don't know if you're familiar with usa ka dangaw. So, when we say dangaw, that is the length gikan sa imuha nga tip of the thumb up to the tip of your middle finger. So, kana siya mo nagitawag nga dangaw. O mao ganina itawag na mo sa una kung magduwa Chinese no nga. O 1 inch. So kana na siya pero actually na siya 1 inch no. Kana siya usa ka dangaw. So another is ang meters. If you I don't know if you have observed it paghihapon until karon, but some people, especially atong mga mama, papa, uncle, aunties tingali, when we talk about 1 meter, so they are going to measure gikan sa kaning middle sa ato ang chest hangtod sa tip of your na ang middle finger nga naka-stretch ang imong arm. So mo na ilang gitawag nga usa ka metros. So kani siya nga mga practices are derived or na-develop na siya gikan pod sa practices sa mga Egyptians. Another nga example to that is foot. At first, it was any man's foot, but later, it became the length of a specific foot, such as the chief ruler's foot or the leader of the group. So ang sukdanan sa ilaha nga sa una, so nagdepende sa tiil sa ilaha nga leader or chieftain. A mile. Ang mile nga unit of measure nga itong gigamit karon was defined before as 1,000 strides of the ancient Romans. When we say a stride, ang usa ka stride is about 5 Roman feet. So, how many? So, mo na gitawag og 1,000 stride ang usa ka mile. Okay, there would be a lot of Roman feet nga magamit in a mile. Now, another unit of measurement the ancient Egyptians used was the cubit. Kaning as shown in the picture, ang cubit is gikan sa tip sa imuha nga kaning unsay nga naning pinky hangtod sa imuha nga elbow. So mo na siya ang gigamit. Then 1 cubit was the distance from man's elbow to the tip of the middle finger. Not the pinky the eye, but the middle finger. The word cubit comes from the Latin word cubitum, meaning elbow. Today, we no longer use cubits, but yards. So, mao na din ang gibasihan sa ato ang unit karon nga yard. 1 yard is equivalent to 2 cubits. So, 2 cubit, mo na siyang 1 yard for sa ato ang modern nga measurement. Now, inch was also used with equal to the length of 3 barley corns. Or ang inch, as shown in the picture, kanay mong thumb, imuhang ikuan gamay, so yan na, medyo ikuan, murag i-twist nimo gamay, dili i-twist, but you have to, ang gimagikan sa imuhang tip of your thumb, hangtod sa middle sa imuhang thumb. So, mo na siya 1 inch. Nakaagi pa ko gamit ka na sa una, but dili man na siya equal kay magdepende man na siya sa gitas-on sa thumb sa usa ka tawo. Now, these are some of the units used by the ancient Egyptians when they measure in terms of length of objects and distance between spaces. So napailain diha no nga wala na yung sa tong libro. We have the fathom. We have the span. So the span is the distance from our thumb to our pinky. The hand or the palm. So, kani sila. These are just some. I guess or I believe nga daghan pa ang mga ginagamit sa una. So, now, how about the instrument to measure time? Before the inventions of clocks and watches, sun, moon, and stars were used to estimate the time of the day. So, before, wala pa man ning mga clocks and watches that can tell us exactly what the time of the day is. So, ang ila pa ginagamit are the heavenly bodies. So, they're going to observe the movement of or kind of the movement of these heavenly bodies. So makita nila, di ba, pag tungod na to ang sun, so mao na gitawag nga noon time. So mao nang pinaka-peak no. So ang tungod sa ato ang ulo, mao na ang alas 12. So kaya na ang they are going to determine the time, estimate the time of the day through the movement sa sun, sa moon as well as the stars. Another is an hourglass. So an hourglass is an invertible device with two connected glass bulbs containing sand that takes an hour to pass from the upper to the lower bulb. So from the word hour, so it takes an hour. So kaya kanang kanang sand nga ilahang gisulod dinha. So magsige na siya agas, then after an hour, so empty na siyang upper nga bulb, then tuan na siya sa lower bulb tanan. So mo na ilang gamiton mag-set og time for a certain tingali nga mga activities nga ilahang gamit. Now, measuring weight or mass of object. So, a lot of records or a lot of kanang mga pictures nga nag-show sa mga kanang Egyptian nga mga activities, makit-an usaan ni ma-observe ang paggamit og balance, nga weighing scale. So in measuring weights, the ancient Egyptians used balance similar to what we use today. So today naputay mga ingon ani gihapon nga balance, but mostly ginagamit na ni nato siya sa mga laboratories for kanang mga purposes of experiments and other nga mga kaya na ang gamitanan nga specifically ma-measure through sa balance. So, ang balance, unsa man ni siya pag-work or unsaon nga mo-work siya. They would place an object on a pan. So, sa pikas, if you notice, kana na diha sa Egyptian nga, kaya na ang sa Egyptian nga picture, kabantay mo anang tulo ka kanang nay kind of tube or unsa na siya cylinder nga sa pikas is the rabbit. So gikuan nila nga kanang usa ka rabbit ang kaning tulo ka one mo ni standard nga kaya nang ilaha nga i-follow. So kung pila ka rabbit ang kaya na ang ma-equal ang ilahang or ma-balance ang ilaha nga kaya na ang weight, so mao na siya ang equivalent or mao na siya ang value sa kana naa nga balance. So they kept on adding weights until two pans were balanced. So, manang gitawag siya balance kay kinahanglan ma-balance sila para ilang value is the same. So, measuring weight. So, what's the problem with this kind of measurement or the use of this mga mode or kanaang instruments of measurement? One of the problem nga makita nato dinhi is the inconsistencies. When we say inconsistent, dili parihas. Let's say for example, kung ato nang gamiton karon ang cubit or fathom, kung atong gamiton na karon to measure clothes or tela no. So, what if kani nga store ang ilaha nga tigsukod is mubo o bukton kaysa lain nga store? So there would be an inconsistencies between the product that you receive with the same amount tungod kay lain-lain man ang length, lain-lain man, dili man consistent or dili pariha ang kitason sa body part sa ato sa mga tao. So nayuban nga mububukton, taas bukton, so mubuog dangaw or na ang dagko palm. So dili siya kasaligan. It would not be a reliable nga dili siya reliable, what do you call this one? Dili siya maging reliable ang atong measurement tungod kay wala gyoy consistent nga kadak-on sa igihimo nga instrument. So that is why because of these inconsistencies, people soon realized the need to agree on a standard system of measurement. So, dihay mga meetings nga nanghitabo, discussions, brainstorming probably. So, one time, French scientists came up with a uniform system of measurement. So, gitawag ni nila og metric system. The metric system uses a decimal base. So, the metric system uses meter as the standard unit for length, which is equal to 1:10 million of the distance from the North Pole to the equator. Today, meter is defined as the distance traveled by light in a vacuum in a time interval of 1 per 299,792,458 of a second. So, kita, Philippines, we are one of the countries nga nagamit sa metric system. So, mao na nga hangtod karon, so nagamit gyapon ta dako influence na to metric system, although nanagyoy kanang basis or usa ka system nga ginagamit sa tibuok kalibutan to be the basis of kumangitag kaya ng international nga kaya na ang when we say global nga kaya na ang basis or system of measurement, so naa jud usa, but kita nga Philippines is one of the countries nga nagamit og metric system mostly. There is another system of measurement called English system, which is also widely used by other countries. The English system got its name from its origin, which is England. So kaning English system ginagamit ni siya mostly by people in the United States, Canada, and countries that are members of the Commonwealth of Nations, an association of sovereign states consisting of the United Kingdom and a number of its former nga dependencies. So, nanapod, gikan sa inconsistencies of using body parts, heavenly bodies, kaya na ang katong mga invention sa una magamit ra gihapon sa nature, napakani sundials no, na inconsistencies na-come up sila og lain nga system of measurement. So karon na napoy duha ka system of measurement. So para nga ma-settle ang conflict or confusion between these two, asa man gyud ang sakto, asa man gyud ang huan. So to settle the confusion between the two systems, International System of Units, abbreviated as SI, was born. So, tungod kay naka-cause siya confusion between countries, so nagtapok ang uban ng mga scientists in an international agreement. So, this system is convenient to use because it is based on the multiple of 10. And so, kada SI base unit can be multiplied or divided by 10. A prefix is added to the base unit to indicate how many times the base unit is multiplied or divided. So, maong karon with regard sa tibuok nga system of measurement, so ang ato ginabasihan is the SI or International System of Units. But as I've said, kita Philippines, we are using mostly yun sa metric system. Now, these are the prefixes used in the SI system and their symbols and meanings. So, prefix sa atong English, unsa man na, these are words nga atong ikabit no, atong ipuno, idugang or isuwat before a root word para nga mag-add of meaning to it. So, sa ato nga measurement system, so ato pod gihapon na siyang ginagamit. So natay mga commonly used nga mga ng prefixes like the mega. So mega na siya symbol nga M, capital M. Meaning niya is 1 million or 8 times of 1 million ang atong base unit. Kilo. So symbol is small k. So Ang bot pasabutan na niya, ang imong base unit is times 1,000. So let's say for example, akong base unit is meter. So kung ako nang kabitan og kilo, so that is kilometer. So 1 meter times 1,000 kay kilometer naman siya. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So deci, d, 1/10, centi. So we have 1 hundredths. Then we have milli, small m, 1 is to 1,000, micro, nano, and so on. So a prefix is added to the base unit to indicate how many times the base unit is multiplied or added, as I've said. Next, we have the SI base units. So base quantity, so for length, the unit is, or base unit is meter, symbol which is m. For mass, kilogram, but the word there or the base unit is gram, but ang mostly ginagamit for mass is kilogram. So kg, time, second, s, electric current, ampere, symbol is capital A, temperature, Kelvin, capital K, amount of substance, mole, MOL ang iyang symbol. Then luminous intensity is candela, which is ang iyang symbol is CD. The SI established 7 basic quantities that have been used measurements until sa karon nga time. Now, to understand the meaning or the importance, why do we need to use these prefixes, or why does it make make nga easier ang ato nga paggamit sa measurement kung naanis dyan nga mga prefix. So, in everyday life, no, magamit pag kita og measurement, no. So, for example, the prefix nga kilo. So, sa mass, with regards to mass, so pwede siya nga kilogram. So, asa man na nato gamiton na naa nga, kaya na ang unit of measure, asa man na nato kasagaran ginagamit. So, bag of rice, kilogram na no. So, di man pwede nga magkilo a bag of rice pa ka, mag-milligram pa ka, kay too small. So, dako kayo imong number ana. So, sa kilometer, asa man na gamiton to road. Oh. So, kung dool ra sa silingan, di ka magamit og kilometer. Adto kas mga meter lang, or kung dool lang gyud kayo centimeter. Oh, so mo na siya. Base unit, kumain ko gram, so anas mga coins. Kumain ko meter, table, kanang ma-measure lang by meter. Okay? Then milli or milligram, human hair, tibuok hair. Millimeter, size of a grain of sand. Micro, this is very small already. Kay sa atong micro sa kaganina, ito 1 millionth. So, gamay na siya kaayo. So, microgram, for example. So, ang iyang gamitan na mass of a stamp. So, just imagine sa kagaan ng stamp, no? Micrometer, length of a bacterium. So, when we say bacterium, it cannot be seen by our naked eye already. So, nano. So, kung small ang micro, mas small gyud ang nano. So, nanogram, so unsa may i-measure? Mass of a molecule. So, molecule is just a part of a very tiny pod nga kanang part of matter. So, dili na sad ni siya makita. So, kung may nanometer, the diameter of an atom ning samot gyud ka gamay. So, ang atom gamay lang guide ka na ka part of the particle. So, kana siya. Units in everyday life. So, ang ato ang mga real life nga mga objects, situations, surroundings, makita nato, these are measured by gina-measure ni sila by appropriate pod nga use of units of measure. So, the table above shows the idea of using appropriate prefixes along with these base units in real life setting.